This is the hidden cost of smoking. Sometimes people tell me I don't spend a lot of money on cigarettes, so I don't have a big motivation to quit. But the real cost of smoking, the hidden cost of smoking, goes beyond just finances. Not long ago, I read a book called The 5 Types of Wealth, and it talks about how happiness and fulfillment in life comes from being wealthy in 5 areas. And when I read that, I thought, wow, smoking must be the one thing that steals all 5 types of wealth. It makes us poorer in every way, and quitting smoking increases all 5 types of wealth. So I want to share with you what are the 5 types of wealth, how smoking steals them all right now, and how breaking free makes you wealthier in every way and therefore happier. So the first type of wealth is, as you can expect, financial wealth. Smoking is expensive. For example, if a pack costs $8, and I know in many states in the US is more expensive, if you're in Canada or Australia it's way more expensive, but for our example, let's say that a pack costs $8 and you smoke a pack a day. That's nearly $3,000 a year, every year. And even if you pay less on cigarettes or vaping, you do pay. And you pay so again and again and again. Because being a smoker, being a vapor means having a lifetime subscription to the tobacco companies or the vaping companies that you cannot cancel. Quitting smoking is like getting an extra paycheck every month, forever, to do what you want with it. Our program members are saving on average $3,000 per year, and that's without the indirect cost of smoking on their health, their energy, their health insurance that we pay premium as smokers, and the health anxiety that affects everything else. For example, our member Diane saved $11,000 in the first 3 years that she's been smoke-free. She invested it and the money grew to $30,000. Our member Mary Lee smoked for 45 years. She's smoke-free for 4 years now, and she said, the money I have saved since stopping has paid for a new small boat, and I'm happy to not smell like cigarettes anymore. And Rodney smoked for 40 years. He quit 5 years ago and has saved $27,000. I'm telling you this because the possibilities are endless. You get to treat yourself in big ways or small ways. And however much you save, you don't pay anymore to harm your health. And that's everything, isn't it? So that's the first type of wealth. Now, the second type of wealth is time wealth. Time is one of, if not the most valuable resource we have. Once spent, it's lost forever. Smoking steals our time in quantity and in quality. In quantity because we risk shortening our lives, but also smoking steals our time every day. For example, a pack-a-day smoker who spends, let's say, 5 minutes on each cigarette loses 100 minutes or over an hour and a half per day. That's 45 hours per month. Now, even if you multitask and smoke while doing other things like drinking coffee or working or driving, just think of all the extra time you spend going out of your way to find a time and a place to smoke. Go to buy cigarettes, cleaning smoke out of your car or your clothes, planning your life around it. As a non-smoker, we regain countless precious minutes that add up to months or even years during our lifetimes. But it's not just losing time in quantity, it's losing time in quality as well. Because as smokers, when we're addicted, even when we don't smoke, we spend most of our waking lives this way. Our attention is always split between what we're doing and the cigarette we're smoking or the cigarette we're about to smoke next. For example, you're having a conversation and half of your attention is split between the conversation and your next cigarette, or asking yourself, have I smoked a lot? Do I have enough? Should I ask for one? Or you're working and half of your attention is split to the next smoke break. Or you're having a dinner and half of your attention is split to the end of the dinner and when you can smoke. So we're never present. This split is happening constantly in the background and it creates a lot of distress. We may become more aware of the split more intensely when we try to quit smoking, but it is always there, always in the background. And we need to be aware of the split. That's how in our program, we consciously and intentionally become aware of it because we cannot change what we're not aware of. And after we quit, we not only gain back time in quantity, but also in quality, because you no longer have to split your attention between your life and the demands of your addiction and your craving mind. I remember Gary, who was a smoker for 61 years, and Gary has an Ask an X interview. I'm going to put the link in the description. Very inspiring. So Gary is sharing the moment that he experienced his freedom. He was at his grandson's birthday party, and he didn't miss a moment. He was present, physically and mentally present the whole time. And many of our members tell me being more present with their grandchildren, or being better at work, or being a better listener. It is the gift to occupy each moment fully and be present to the life that's happening right now. Now, the third type of wealth is social wealth. Social wealth is the quality of our personal and professional relationships. It is our community. It is our support system. It is our network. Being connected. There was an 80-year-old study by Harvard. So the study lasted 80 years, and they found that the quality of our relationships impacts our happiness and can contribute to our longevity. Now, at one time, smoking added to our social wealth. It was the norm. Everyone was smoking. It was allowed in trains, in hospitals, in airplanes, everywhere. Doctors were smoking. Doctors were endorsing cigarettes. It was the norm. Until the 1964 Surgeon General's report that officially declared for the first time that cigarette smoking is the primary cause of lung cancer, chronic bronchitis, and coronary heart disease. And this was followed by countless lawsuits to big tobacco, restriction in advertising, and laws put in place about secondhand smoke. So as we aged, as times changed, we went from feeling cool and rebellious to feeling weak and like a social pariah. Nowadays, smoking is not socially acceptable. It's not cool, and it takes our social wealth in many ways. For one, it fills us with shame. I remember smoking in public when I was a smoker, and someone passed by me and she waved her hand annoyingly like this. And then it bothered me. I felt horrible. It felt judgmental, and it bothered me because deep down, I judged myself for being a smoker. I felt weak and I felt disgusted with myself. I didn't like showing up in the world that way. As a non-smoker, I no longer feel this shame. I feel immense pride whenever someone offers me a cigarette or asks for a lighter, and I say, I don't smoke. When I first quit, I was saying I don't smoke anymore. Now it's like, I don't smoke. And the problem with this shame is that we bring it to all our relationships because we carry it within us. But it's not just shame. It's also the pressure and the exclusion. If your friends and your loved ones are non-smokers, then you've probably experienced their constant encouragement for you to quit. And you know they're right. You know they love you, they care about you, but over time, this breaks your rapport with them because you feel like they don't understand you, you feel like they judge you, and this makes you distance yourself from the people who love you the most. And this adds to our loneliness. And part of that exclusion is the isolation we feel, missing out on precious moments to go smoke. I remember Trevor. The moment he realized, what am I doing to myself? He was on vacation with his wife and their friends, and he was the only smoker. So every time he had to smoke, he had to leave his wife and his friends, go far, far away in a corner to smoke, and then look at them from afar, having fun, and him smoking alone. And that was when he thought, what am I doing to myself? Now he's 8 years smoke-free and loving his smoke-free life. Trevor also has an amazing Ask an X interview. I'm gonna add the link in the description of this video. I highly recommend watching it. He transformed his entire life. And listen, even if your friends and your loved ones smoke, smoking still steals your social wealth because smoking appears as a connection, something you share with those people. But this is a surface connection. In reality, we tend to gravitate towards people with the same addiction and avoid people who don't smoke. So over time, we stop assessing people on their merit and we start feeling closer with fellow smokers because it makes us feel more comfortable and less judged with what we are doing, because this is a way to justify our addiction, to justify that what we do is normal. But all this does is it limits our world. Our addiction limits our world. And ultimately, and that is the most important thing, when we want to quit smoking, but we don't, we're not happy with ourselves. And this spills over to all our relationships with smokers and with non smokers. So, social wealth comes in many forms: respect, admiration, deeper connection, meaningful connection with others, and freedom. And whichever form you experience, one thing is certain: it will enrich your life. Now, the next type of wealth is mental wealth. Mental wealth is our well being, our peace of mind, our confidence. A big moment for me when I was a smoker is I realized that, I pride myself for being an independent person, yet I have somehow managed to chain myself to a master with zero IQ: cigarettes. As smokers, our happiness becomes conditional on feeding our addiction. We don't smoke to enjoy a slow evening, but we cannot enjoy a slow evening unless we smoke. We don't smoke to relax. We cannot relax unless we smoke. We don't smoke to enjoy our coffee. We cannot have coffee or enjoy a morning or start our day unless we smoke. So our life, our existence becomes conditional to the cigarette, to a master with zero IQ. On top of that, we experience the smoker's conflict, the conflict between the real you and the addicted you, and that drains you. I have another video where I talk about the smoker's conflict. I'm going to link it below. Listen, every single aspect of our mental health improves after quitting smoking. Mental health benefits that we experience after quitting include increased happiness, increased confidence, decreased anxiety, decreased depression. Now, quitting smoking is not going to cure your existing anxiety and depression. You're still going to feel anxious and sad and stressed, but it will significantly decrease these emotions, these states, and increase your ability to cope in healthy ways. One of our members, Michelle, who has anxiety, she said, as a smoker, my anxiety was always at a 10. That was her baseline. Now my baseline is a 4 to 6. The only thing I changed was quitting smoking. So the anecdotal evidence is tremendous. And there was even a groundbreaking study where researchers found that quitting smoking reduced depression, reduced anxiety, while improving positive mood and improving quality of life, even for smokers with mood and anxiety disorders, and even for smokers with psychiatric disorders. In fact, for those with mood and anxiety disorders, quitting smoking was as effective as taking antidepressant medication. Imagine this. Nicotine is a stimulant. It increases the anxiety in our body, and it also messes up with our dopamine. So, of course, by quitting smoking, you're going to feel better in every way. And if you have quit smoking in the past, but you didn't feel better, this is because you didn't break your mental addiction. So you felt deprived. You were in that state of deprivation, that is a suffering state, and therefore you couldn't experience this tremendous mental health benefit. Now, I have other videos on the mental addiction. I highly recommend diving into them, but this benefit is here for you to experience. Now, the final type of wealth is health. Our health is our wealth. Nothing matters without our health, right? So smoking, and we know this, not only causes lung cancer, emphysema, COPD, and other life-threatening conditions, smoking affects our health every day. For example, frequent colds and flu, trouble sleeping, fatigue and low energy, tooth and gum issues, brittle bones, aggravated hot flashes if you're a woman in perimenopause or menopause, chronic pain, autoimmune disease, joint pain, fertility issues, inflammation, slow wound healing, heartburn, or tinnitus are all aggravated by smoking. And it is true that when it comes to our health, there are many unknowns. There are many things we cannot control. There are many things we cannot plan for. But quitting smoking is the one thing we can control, right? Quitting smoking is not just a future investment in your health. It is a gift that will improve your life right now. We've had members who were diagnosed with sleep apnea and had to use a CPAP machine. and they could stop using the machine after quitting smoking with, of course, the instructions of their doctor. See, as soon as we put out that last cigarette, our health begins to improve because the body is designed to heal itself. The body is designed to repair itself, and lungs can heal. There was a study published in the journal Nature, and they found that quitting smoking allows healthy cells, epithelial cells in our lungs, to regenerate and restore an overall healthier lung tissue, even for people who have been smoking for over 40 years. And even if you already have an irreversible condition like emphysema or COPD, quitting smoking and vaping is the best thing you can do for that disease to stop the progression of the disease. It's like you have a mirror, and that mirror is cracked. Quitting smoking cannot put the mirror together when it comes to COPD and emphysema, but it can stop the cracking and it can improve your quality of life. For example, our member Robin and our member Andrew, they both had early onset COPD. They had to use an inhaler, but after quitting smoking, their quality of life improved. They didn't have to use the inhaler anymore. And both Robin and Andrew, they have an Ask an X interview, different Ask an X interviews that I highly, highly recommend watching. All the links will be in the description of this video. So even if you have an irreversible condition, by quitting smoking, you allow every other part of your body to heal as well. So these are the 5 types of wealth. Quitting smoking and vaping makes you wealthier because you get to have more money, you get to have more time in quantity, and most importantly, in quality. You get to have mental freedom and inner peace, connect deeper with people in a meaningful way because you show up differently in those relationships, and of course, have more health. So let me know in the comments, what's the most important type of wealth for you? And if you're interested in quitting smoking soon, or you just want to learn more about it, subscribe and follow this channel so you will not miss out on new videos. I have many more new videos coming up, so you will not miss out on videos that will help you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.